Bentonville Heights. Arkansas gymnast Lauren Williams is an all-conference athlete, but she's also using her time in our city to impact the next generation.
It's so cool that I get to be in these shoes.
Olympics bound. Speaking of athletes, several bikers who trained in the mountain bike capital of the world are now off to the Olympics. How Bentonville is shaping Team USA. And we head to the red carpet. The 10th anniversary of the Bentonville Film Festival is in the books. We'll talk to an Oscar winner about a decade right here in Bentonville. That and more as Downtown Now starts now. Hi, and welcome to Downtown Now. We've got stories coming up about natural state natives doing great things in Bentonville and beyond. I'm Dana Schlegenhoff.
And I am Aaron Nolan. We are talking about the biggest stage possible in a few of the stories we have today, the Olympic Games. Bentonville folks doing things on the worldwide stage. Dana, did you know I have actually been to not one, but 2 Olympic Games?
What sport did you compete in?
Camera work?
So as a journalist.
There you go.
Still an important part of the Olympics.
I guess you could call it that. This is going to be a great show. Again, the Olympics kind of the theme moving forward, and it's so much fun to find out all the Olympians that we have here in Northwest Arkansas, and specifically in Bentonville.
Something else people don't know about this guy and your family is that you're big fans of the Arkansas Razorback gymnastics team.
My kiddos love that team.
Yes, and they have plenty of Olympic spirit. In fact, head coach Jordan Weaver is an Olympic gold medalist.
And one of the stars of her team is Lauren Williams. If you don't know Lauren competed in Bentonville as a kid on the gymnastics floor. She also is a Bentonville High School grad. And
Go
now,
Tigers! Go Tigers!
There you go. And now she is making history with every death-defying spin, flip, or jump she performs.
It's a sport that defies logic, defies common sense, and even defies the laws of gravity.
It's so cool that I get to be in these shoes. I didn't really realize how big of a deal it was until I was in that position.
Bentonville High School grad Lauren Williams is a history-making hog. She's the 4th Arkansas native ever to compete as an Arkansas Razorback gymnast.
Arkansas fans are like no other, and I knew I had a role to take on and a job to take on, and I felt like the coaches felt like I was the perfect fit for that role. And so I've enjoyed every ride that we've gone on and every adventure, and I think it's a very cool opportunity.
Moving from Bentonville High to the U of A was an easy decision. This is a picture of Lauren's room as a child. Above her bed is her favorite athlete, an Olympian turned college coach.
Playing for Jordan Weaver is something that I never thought I would tell you I would do a day in my life. I grew up watching her. I watched every meet, every YouTube video she had. She was actually like my idol growing up, and so it's kind of ironic that now she's my head coach and she's perfect in every way.
Learning from a gold medalist has paid off. Lauren is a 3-time all-conference gymnast, helping the Razorbacks to a 7th place national finish last season. But we can't forget about the impact Lauren makes away from the competition.
We're seeing a lot of flips and tricks from these kiddos. How much responsibility do you feel looking at them going, I was here, I've been there? And how much fun is it to see them come up to you and recognize you for what you've done at the University of Arkansas?
Oh my gosh, it's so cool, and I love every time I walk in here. They always come up to me and they're like, Lauren, look at this. They want to show me their new skills. They want to show me all the cool things they do, and they want to be just like me. And so I feel like I can fill that role to inspire them, and so it's cool.
From the floor to the vault, even the bars and beam, this natural state gymnast is taking Northwest Arkansas to new heights.
Bentonville is just such a special place, and I like to carry it everywhere I go. I think that everyone from home comes to the meets and cheers me on, and I feel that everywhere I go, and so I think it's really special, and it made me who I am. I grew up here, and that's how now I take it everywhere I go.
Now, as a lifelong Razorback fan myself, I am not afraid to say this. When you go to Bud Walton Arena or when you go to Barnhill and the women are doing things on the gymnastics floor, it is like nothing else. They are bringing the hype.
I love that. Now, from nickname to fact,
Okay.
there's really no debating at this point. Bentonville is the mountain biking capital of the world, and the Olympics are proving that.
Absolutely they are.
Not only do we have nearly 100 miles of trails in the city, there's also more than 400 miles in Northwest Arkansas. You remember this, late in 2022, Team USA moved its mountain bike operations to Bentonville with the goal of having Olympians by the year 2028. But guess what, Aaron?
What?
We beat that timeline here in Bentonville.
That's awesome.
Recently, Team USA announced that 4 riders, all of whom have spent time on our trails right here in Northwest Arkansas, are heading to the Olympics.
Bentonville, I think Bentonville in particular this year is such a strategic advantage for Team USA because if you look at the course at Elancourt Hill in Paris for the Olympics, there's no better place in America to prepare for that than Bentonville. This is the home of the U.S. National Mountain Bike Team. It is the mountain bike capital of the world, but what it also is for us at USA Cycling, it's the home of the U.S. National Mountain Bike Team. This is the ultimate thing that can happen to you outside of winning an Olympic medal. The ultimate thing that can happen is you're named to an Olympic team.
Dana, last year you and I caught up with Riley Amos. He is on the Olympic team, and Riley spent a lot of time here in Bentonville. But last year he talked about what it would be like if he brought a medal home to Bentonville, Arkansas.
The amount of people who kind of make Bentonville what it is, just thinking about that many people sharing that win would be pretty special. And thinking about, if every person who supports Bentonville and Bentonville cycling and this mountain bike capital of the world, like having a little chunk of that medal, I mean, that sounds pretty damn special to me, that's for sure.
Joining Amos are Haley Batten, Savalia Blanc, and Christopher Blevins. Go Team USA. So excited to see all 4 not only represent the red, white, and blue, but represent Bentonville as well.
Pretty cool. We're proud to have them. Now, if Team USA were to look out their window
Directly
at Ledgers,
across the street.
right across the street, there's the Motto Hotel. This boutique hotel is perfect for bikers wanting to explore downtown Bentonville. It's also perfect for art lovers, Aaron.
Oh.
On the side of the building is a brand new installation by Jesse and Katie. The Baltimore-based artist team focuses on making public areas into something more fun using abstract images and bright colors. And hey, they did that on the side of Motto. Now, for the Bentonville version, take a look. The mural is several stories tall and can be seen from multiple angles around downtown Bentonville.
We are so lucky to have them here. They have mounted murals all over the United States for over a decade now, using a specific language of geometry and abstraction and bright and vibrant colors to make their signature style. What's so special about this piece in particular is that they respond to the natural architecture of a space. Thinking about this hotel behind us, you can't quite see here, but the mural wraps 2 sides of the building and it's asymmetrical. And so what was really important to the artists was making sure that the mural was able to stand alone and have a visual impact no matter which side you look at it from. I like to think that some of the shapes that you can see through the abstraction look like and represent a big B for Bentonville.
If you haven't seen it, go check out that mural at the Motto Hotel. It is beautiful.
Well, and it changes the landscape and the skyline of Bentonville. It is so cool. You can see it from so many different angles, and it kind of changes the imagery and the feeling that you have around art.
Yeah, it's simply stunning. Go check it out. And coming up next, the Ron Burgundy of Northwest Arkansas, the man, the myth, the legend, Daren Bobb from 5 News is our Downtown Conversation.
Daren Bobb, welcome to Downtown Now.
It's a pleasure to be here. Love it, love every minute of it.
I want to go back to Illinois and the move in, 1984?
1984, just had graduated college.
Yeah.
And back then, radio jobs were a little bit more accessible than they are now. And there was a couple of stations that I tried to apply there near my hometown. and didn't go anywhere. And so I had a pretty good relationship with my college professor. And I knew he had worked in Fort Smith for a number of years, and called him and I said, look, I'm just getting frustrated. He said, get a cassette, and for all those of you who don't know what a cassette is, it's a cassette.
Right.
Send it to the station in Fort Smith and see what happens. And 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, come on down. And in college, you were told that you could stay, if you stayed for a year, you would be, and just to get your feet wet, then you can move on. Well, 40 years plus 3 months later, still here.
So what was the environment like when you moved from Illinois to Fort Smith? Was that a culture shock?
Oh yeah, I came from a town of 13,000 and I'm moving to a town of 80 some odd thousand. It's central Illinois, and so you have an accent there, and you come down here, and when I first got here, couldn't understand a lot of things. But I got used to it really fast. And what helped is staying busy at that radio station, doing stories and covering meetings and meeting people. That really did help a lot. And you just become wrapped up in the culture of this area, and I've loved it ever since.
All right, radio to not even on camera, it was news management.
Yeah, I was
executive producer.
I left KTCS in 91, early 91. I had made a pretty good friendship with the news director here at Channel 5, and the position came open for a 5 o'clock producer and assignments manager, and I said, I'll take it. And that even was a culture shock, because at the radio station, you didn't have photographers, you didn't have other producers, you didn't have all these
running and gunning yourself.
Oh yeah, and so you had a staff now that you had to manage, and I wasn't used to that. But after about a month or two, it became secondhand, and stayed until 2000, and then went back into radio again. Having a relationship with the then news director here at Channel 5 in 2006, they had a position open for the evening anchor, and he said, I get a phone call at the DMV, I'm getting my, and he says, when can you come by? And I said, why? And he said, we need an anchor on the desk. I said, I always promised myself that if I worked at the station, I'd be behind the camera.
That's a great story, but I want to know why.
I wasn't comfortable, even having worked here for those 9 years. It just didn't seem comfortable to me to sit in front of the camera. I didn't think I had that look or the ability to do it. Watching Burr Edson, watching Guy Westmoreland, Donna Bragg, Bridget Bonds. I mean, all the very talented and really good anchors that I had produced for, just didn't think I was good enough to do that. And so he called me in, and I went to the studio, and I found the only sports coat I had, put it on tie to tie, looked awful, and red. And then this guy comes walking out, and he says, okay, do it again. I didn't even recognize the guy. Went back, did it again. He came back out, and turns out he was a consultant, a member of a consulting company. He said, okay, we'll get back with you. And I said, okay, great. Nice to know you guys. Good to see everybody again that I had remembered from working there before. I went back to my regular life again. 2 weeks later, called and said, when can you come back? And I said, why? And he said, because we need to have you do this. And October 31st, Halloween night, was my first live shot at a haunted house in Fort Smith.
Did you ever realize that maybe you did have that itch to be on camera?
After doing it, yes. And doing it on air, number one, and two, not really having to worry about all the managerial part of the newsroom. That it takes a toll when you're trying to manage a bunch of different people. One, it was easier for me to come back and do it. Second, it was harder for me to step back from that role. Because as soon as I came back, I wanted to tell everybody where to go and where to do and all that sort of thing. And News Director Time says, we have people that can do that. You don't have to worry about that anymore. What you need to worry about is to make sure you're doing your best job on the set. And that's your job. You can mentor, you can suggest, you can help out with stories, but I need you to do your best work on the set. And I remember that, I still remember that to today.
Let's talk about staying power. I worked in media, not at this station, but I understand the success of 5 News at 5, 6, and 10. I'm married to one of your former co-anchors.
Yes. Tonight we showed you how to pick out the perfect steak to cook outside for your July 4th
Yeah, well, tonight in our 5 News.
I like to think she was part of that.
And tell her I miss her terribly,
I will,
by the way.
I will do that. But the staying power of this organization is something unseen across not just Northwest Arkansas, not the natural state, but the entire landscape of TV news. How has that happened?
You know, I think it goes back to we're the oldest station, if not one of the oldest stations in Arkansas. I continually hear, I remember my grandfather, when he was a kid, watched you guys, watched, John Candler and Pat Porta and all those guys that worked in the 60s and 70s. They're now grandparents and they have kids and grandkids that they don't know what else to watch, the older folks. And so now their kids are watching us and now their grandkids are getting tuned in to watch us. And I think that's what keeps us, well, one of the things that keeps us going. Our product is second to none, I think, after all the years I've been here. And that helps, but I think it's just the legacy of this station that has allowed us to do what we do and hire who we hire to keep that legacy going. But when you have an audience that you've had for 50 or 60 years and they're still here and they bring up their kids and their grandkids to do the same thing, I'm not going to say it's easy to do it. It just makes it easier for us to do that. Are we going to still tell great stories and really do good stories? Yes. We're not going to rest on whatever legacy that we have. We have to keep that legacy going, and I think with the staff that we have now, I don't see it ever ending.
We've talked a lot about your history, where Channel 5 is now. We've talked a little bit about the future. How much responsibility does Daren Bobb feel to this community, to the viewers, to continue this legacy that we've talked about?
Oh my, yeah, it's, I've spent 40 years building up what I think is a news person that people can trust as far as seeing on TV. And the way we cover stories and the way I do things. I want to make sure, even though they're not my stories, I want to make sure that they are stories that are fair, that people can understand, they're concise, they're not, biased. We've always got to get both sides of the story. And I put my reputation on the line every day, and I think the whole station does as well too, that you just don't want to mess that up. And I'm Daren Bobb. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer talked with a local. At the end of the day, I can walk out of here and think I've got the best job in the world because I'm actually doing something that I love and I'm letting people know what's happening around them in a way that they can understand and let them form their own opinion about what the story is. But I'm sure not going to give them one side and then here's what you guys have to know and then that's it. That's just not good journalism. Yeah, the responsibility is just to make sure that you do the job that you're supposed to do and do it in a way that people won't turn to go somewhere else. And I think we've done that. I think we've done that pretty well here. Just with the legacy of the other anchors and being on, 17 years now doing this.
Daren, thank you. I will give you one compliment, and it's one that I always wanted when I was a news anchor.
I'm a terrible golfer. Is that it?
That was not the compliment. We're still waiting for that. But this is a guy who is the same guy on that desk as he is in person.
Oh, yeah.
Daren, thanks.
Thank you much. Appreciate it. You bet. That was awesome.
Now, coming up, it's been 10 years of the Bentonville Film Festival right here in our city. We hit the red carpet, and that's next.
So much can change in a city in 10 years. Let's go back 1 decade to when the Bentonville Film Festival began right here in the greatest city in all of America.
And we chatted with Gina Davis and team on the red carpet here in Bentonville about how special our city is to the Bentonville Film Festival.
I was so thrilled that we decided to have the festival in Bentonville. When the idea first came up, Walmart was our founding sponsor, and they said, you know, you could have it right here at our hotel, and come take a look. And I was like, there couldn't be anywhere better. It looks like a film set of a film festival. So I just love it. And the really special part is how welcoming the community has been and how supportive. They've really come out for us, and we appreciate that so much.
From the red carpet back to the red, white, and blue. What a great day to be in Bentonville. Any day is a great day to be in Bentonville.
And a great day to be an American as we cheer on Team USA in the Olympics. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Sunday.